presence of members of my family, my friends who are here to support me. A big thank you to my publishers, Guernica Editions, and to Canada Arts Council, the Ontario Arts Council, for the grants that allowed me to write this novel. In many ways, this novel is a response to colonial history, like Ellen Thorpe's Ladder of Bones, published in the 1950s. In her version, Thorpe presents British colonization in Nigeria as a noble mission, an altruistic effort by missionaries, administrators, and traders to civilize a land she describes as devastated by tribal wars and slave trading. Her framing, of course, draws from the familiar trope of the benevolent empire, where British and other European interventions are cast as the engine of African progress. But beneath this paternalistic language and these so-called righteous intentions lies a history of brutal conquests, cultural erasure, and intergenerational trauma, a lot of which we're still living through on the continent and in the diaspora. So my novel deliberately signifies on Thorpe's title, but where her ladder of bones symbolizes the sacrifice of colonial agents, I actually jam the image to highlight the human cost of colonization, the buried trauma beneath progress narratives that are so popular everywhere, especially in academia. The bones on which modernity was built. In my version, these bones do not form a path upward. They mark what has been lost, silenced, and endured. So the excerpt I'll be reading tonight takes place in Halifax, Nova Scotia. In 1997, during the Victoria Day celebration, a mysterious young girl is found alone on the street. She has 2 navels and her body is covered with scars. In a scene preceding the one I'm going to be reading, she had identified herself to a Yoruba nurse as Enilolopo, which means the one who had gone has returned. So the doctors are still trying to decipher who she is and where she comes from in the piece I'm going to read. So I'll be reading from page 33 of this novel, which, as Gavin said, is available for those who are here, advanced copies. Otherwise, you order it online and wait till 1st of October. Yeah. Now, so how are you feeling now, Victor? Ara Plotowski stopped herself, then read from the transcript of their session from the previous day. I mean, Inilolobo. For his part, hawk-like Dr. Scholl surveyed the girl for any sign that the utterance of the name might elicit a significant response. No, she just continued eyeing Ira unblinkingly. Later, if you're feeling up to it, Dr. Scholl and I will take you out for a drive to places which might help jog your memory. Dr. Plotowski paused to gauge the girl, but she was inscrutable. You know, so you will be able to tell us who you are and where you come from? Dr. Scholl said, smiling. When the child turned to fix him with the same focused stare, he felt compelled to offer further explanation. What I mean is that we think we can help you tell your story. Enilolobo sighed slowly, then answered, "You want my story?" She asked in bewilderment. "But it is my story." Excited by the girl speaking, Dr. Plotowski pulled up a chair and slowly took the young girl's bony hand. Gently, she stroked it, and then she tried to probe her mind. Are you equal? She asked, stressing every letter of the unpronounceable word. Enilolobo looked puzzled. Obanije? Dr. Charles interjected. Enilolobo almost smiled, then made him vanish by turning her head. The scars on your body, how did you get them? Dr. Charles asked. Now the child flashed him a questioning look. Pointing to her own stomach, Dr. Brotowski clarified, the wound on your tummy. Lifting her hospital gown, Enilolobo pointed to the two navels, then looked up at Dr. Brotowski, who nodded enthusiastically. This is the road to the old world, and this is to the new one. I am both. I am the road crossing the river. Enilolobo said, her mien was suddenly surreally striking. She spoke as if she carried within her the vision, memory, and the pain of a worrisome past. Her soft voice sounded old, thoughtful, as if she was delving deep into herself until she found a morsel of insight, which she could share, not self-assuredly, but demurely, as if she feared the listener, the world, would disagree with her tendering. Like a bridge? Dr. Schultz asked. Metaphors discomfited him. Yes, Enilolobo hailed her in reply. She seemed surprised by his ability to comprehend her. A road with two ends across the water, each planted in two walls. What about the other scars on your body? How did you get them? Dr. Brotowski tried to repress her joy in this breakthrough, feeling a bit like Francine Patterson soliciting intelligent signs from Coco the gorilla. Oh, they are nothing. The wounds are inside me. Enilolobo lowered her eyes. Those internalized scars were somehow still fresh, painful, and shameful. Dr. Brotowski was captivated as she tried to imagine the source of the wounds. But the memory of how she got them was too hurtful for Enilolobo to excavate. Still, unable to nix the urge to get her to talk about them, or the compulsion to get her to begin healing, Dr. Brotowski pressed on. Do you know what, Annie? Can I call you Annie? The girl shrugged. Did she care what she was called? Did it matter what new names she was given? After being called so many different names, what difference did one more make? Good, Annie it is then. If you really don't feel up to going on the drive today, we can do it tomorrow. I also want to, unable to complete her thought, Dr. Brotowski posed the question instead. Do you know when you are about to go into a trance? The nurse who was here yesterday said. Dr. Brotowski stopped herself. The girl looked perplexed. I mean, do you know when your old self is coming on? And his answering glance informed Dr. Brotowski that her query sounded quite daft. Okay, I'll tell you what. The next time you get the urge to talk about yourself, anything at all, old or new, can you let me know? Why? The child whispered. Because I need to record it so I can help you make sense of it. Suddenly, Annie opened her mouth. Words began to spill out, just drops at first. As she spoke, her face became radiant. No! My words, they are my own. They are me. All of me. No, no, no. Dr. Plotowski tried to arrest the onset of the trance. Both doctors scrambled for the door when Dr. Plotowski, eager to find a tape recorder, paused and yelled at Dr. Schultz to say to stay and scroll the girl's her rapture. Then she rushed out, muttering if she'll just hold on for a minute. And it was unstoppable. Her words slowly, gradually started to pour out in a transfixing flood. She did not seem conscious of Dr. Schultz, who was scribbling away as if his life depended on it. When Dr. Plotowski returned, they fiddled with the recording equipment, desperate to catch as many of the onrushing words as possible. Where are the words of my despair? When I turn on myself and them Fulani people tear my Picanini from my back in the farm in Oshogun and throw him on the ground and carry me for sale. And when my words turn to wailing and the smell of the other dead bodies of our shit and our vomit kill my word and turn them to sigh inside Portuguese ship, Dutch ship, and French ship, and English ship, and American ship. What you do with them words, I cry, and my words, as we walk inside the water to go back home for Igbo landing. Where was you to hear my words? I scream out at Wharf side of Louisville when Master Clayton and his men tear me from Blackburn and sell me down river. My words, they're the road to myself. If you take them, I will never find rest. I will just continue to journey without no end in this here world, gathering more of pain, blood, and sweat, turning on myself and wounding others too as I go along. And my words, the one that turn into wind, which fly around my bones, which lie shamelessly in Biafra, Zaire, Congo, Liberia, Sudan, Sierra Leone, Rwanda, for months just inside the door of the church in Inyarubuye. That wind, standing still by the sight of my hip bones lying there, spread out, without no flesh cuddling me, on my Picanini bones, which don't become part of me between my legs, my empty chest, ribs, backbones, poking out, refusing to agree that the hands that lead the machetes that slay me and the 13 other people of my family are the same hands that don't shake our hands as friends and sometimes brothers before. Hands stretching out from bodies that once stand and clap in the same church, sometimes praying in the same mosque, and all the other times where our mind become waste instead of soft and strong as any good book supposed to make me. For what seemed like hours, Enilolobo recited an epic of torture, lynching, betrayals, and loss. As the words surged out, she slapped, scratched, and pinched her body as if to destroy it, to spare herself the pain of recollection. At times, the rememberings ran into one another. At some points, the doctors couldn't tell if she was speaking a mishmash of English, Arabic, French, or millennia dead tongues. Finally exhausted, she curled up into a fetal position, sucking the middle and index fingers of her right hand and occasionally whimpering like a baby. She lay like that for a long time after the tape in the recorder ran out, mumbling, grumbling, muttering, stuttering, and agonizing poetry. Thanks for listening.